Yo, what's up, guys? I'm doing another indices, crypto, and also forex breakdown from our last video, which I said I was bearish and that I thought prices were gonna come down, which is exactly what happened. And we're gonna kind of go over Bitcoin, some other positions that I'm interested in taking further down the line, and how to play out this dump and these fears of recession, etc. So first, we're going to start on Bitcoin, and from a TA standpoint, this was a pretty simple short in a pretty decent area to be hedged, at least to cut down some long exposure. We were long Aster last time, short pretty much everything else, and that thesis held up pretty much to par because Aster was the strongest coin in the market. So we were having minimal loss while also printing on our shorts. Again, we just had a classic sweep retracement into like almost exactly the 618. We took out these highs and then pretty much just puked now. I do expect the monthly open to get tapped. Maybe we do something like this or just go straight for the monthly open here. But a very key level, in my opinion, are these lows right here on Bitcoin, and whether we can defend this or we close below it and ultimately come down to mid-range here or 98-ish zone. So that's pretty much what I'm watching for in Bitcoin. I definitely wouldn't be putting on any swing long positions currently. You can scalp here and there, but I think you just have to go with the trend for now, at least until some more important areas are hit or a significant structure change is formed on Bitcoin. Then going into some of the other things, we have the NASDAQ. Had a pretty brutal sell-off going into this week, about 2% recovered up here. Maybe we see something like a double top like this. But ultimately, the bear case for the NASDAQ, in my opinion, are all of these lows down here. So coming all the way down to this 2300 region would put that at a like 7% correction, which would be pretty major for everything pretty much. But yeah, that's what I'm looking for in the NASDAQ. I don't really want to long this anymore. Maybe it's even a good short right now, but I'm pretty much just staying away from indices at this moment, just focusing on crypto. And then also I'm going to get into the Forex pairs, how I loaded up on getting exposure to the dollar before this crash as well. So ETH, I did take a little bit of a long here, but as you guys know in the last video, I was short on ETH, and this was a pretty good model right here. So we're just kind of accumulating and ranging after sweeping the all-time high right here. And then we came down, we ranged for a little bit, then we deviated above, failed to close anywhere above this key zone right here. And then we just started to break down. I didn't get fully filled on ETH, but I did get in a pretty significant position on shorts. I'm mostly out of it now. I have a small runner, but again, I'm also long here, and this is a pretty key SR level for ETH. So high time frame on ETH, let's go over it. First off is the yearly open, so that's about 3,300, and then we have this zone that I like down here at about 3,000, pretty significant psychological level. And then we have all the way down in this area here. So those are the three zones I'm looking at on ETH. If we zoom out onto the weekly, this structure is still pretty bullish, but this whole leg here was filled by like all the treasury companies buying it and such. So yeah, I'd like to bid in these three zones on ETH. Pretty nice zones, and this was a pretty key close. Let's see if we close the weekly underneath these two highs here. But yeah, that's pretty much it. My thesis for ETH. Gold, let's check out gold. Yeah, gold's just being gold. Solana. Yeah, so Solana tapped perfectly into the 786, and then we're nearing the yearly open, so I'm definitely wanting to get some long exposure on Solana, especially after shorting it. I got like 240 short entry on Sol, so I'm up pretty good on these shorts. And again, this is where it really depends. If you took shorts and you're up a decent amount, I would definitely expect to bid some longs in that ETH area I previously just showed you, and also Solana at this pivot in the yearly open around here, value area high as well. So getting some short-term exposure to Solana or pretty much any of the coins just in case, only if you took shorts. Hyperliquid, I had this zone right here if we were going to bounce on Bitcoin at that level of like 114K, which totally just got disrespected. So I'm pretty much just waiting on hype. I actually think I should add a better chart. This doesn't have. Yeah, like we'll add the spot Bybit chart might be better. Yeah, okay. No, this is not even better. Let me get the right hype chart. Let's just see what spot Bitcoin looks like. Yeah, okay. This chart looks way better. Okay. So Hyperliquid here, I definitely want to own this coin in the future and accumulate a bag of hype. This zone looks to be pretty good, and I would say start your DCA. Once we get, you could even start now, but I would personally wait till we at least get to this 35 area, and then I would throw in some heavy bids between 35 to, let's say, like this zone right here, like 35 to the high to mid 20s. Seems like a great zone to buy some Hyperliquid. Just throw it in a bag and just hold it, because I definitely think Hyperliquid is going to be a great coin to own. So that's pretty much the main things that I'm watching for the week ahead. And now let's go over some positions I took on the dollar. So as you know, last video I said I was bearish, and I shorted some coins. I was long Aster, and then I also long some USD pairs and shorted some non-USD pairs to just get exposure to the dollar. Once I saw this sweep right here, and then we had a nice daily inversion and then started retracing back into it, and then fully moved up into this monthly pivot that we've just tapped here. So I did shave off some of the positions, but right here on this retrace on the dollar, at about 97.2 is where I was filling my positions. So let me show you both the shorts I took. Here's the GBP USD one. Let's just kind of go over the basis of this short. So again, on the weekly, we just have been trending up, but ultimately we had a triple sweep right here. And then the pound was weaker than the euro, shown by this divergence right here. And then, yeah, so we pretty much broke structure on the weekly, came back up, formed a divergence, and then going into lower time frame like the daily chart, we had a daily inversion, and then we had simple retracement. This is when I was looking at it, so I did put on a market position right here, so I pretty much top ticked it, but I did have a very large order at this breaker block right here, but it ended up never getting hit. But it's okay, I still got decent exposure. Now we're just sitting at these lows, so I might shop around for a little bit, but I definitely think that this position can come down to these lows, if not even further. And then going to the euro, so as you can see, that was a divergence, but the euro still ultimately cooked. Pretty much just a sweep into my key level, stop loss above the high, targeting the monthly pivot, so that should also hit as well. A nice 2RR trade. And I am going to leave runners on these positions in case we come down to this low or something like that. And then, of course, coincided with the dollar thesis that I just talked about. So that's pretty much it for Forex. I'm pausing on the indices. I have my key levels for crypto. And now let's go over some altcoins. Yeah, as you can see, shorting alts was pretty much the move. Everything took like a 5% hit. Something that I'm interested in accumulating as well is Pump. I did take this short, and I'll break down exactly why I took it real quick. So pretty much this is the previous all-time high peak ICO mania hype of Pump. We pretty much came all the way from our entries at like 0.003 where we had it, all the way above the previous all-time high. And then we started kind of chopping above the previous all-time high, and then pretty much broke down under it. And then we had this fake out right here. So when we broke down under this, it low-key didn't look bad for longs on the market. So I just wasn't in anything, and I just paused. And then I saw this 4 hourly just totally get wrecked by this candle, and then we ultimately closed under the previous all-time high. It was like the previous day open and the daily open. So I decided to take a short under it, stop loss over this because that would invalidate the idea, and we'd probably come for these highs at 0.009. So that's where I set my stop loss, and then I just like targeted some internal lows right here, and it got hit. But I do want to accumulate pump. As you know, this was one of the best trades pretty much of the year for me. The pump long, the gold long. So where I want to reaccumulate pump, because pump and hyperliquid are like producing, as you probably know, the most revenue in the crypto app space. Like, so yeah, pump hit the 618. It actually did hit my first buy zone, but I was at school, so I missed it. But I might add on, I might add on to this position. But I definitely think buying pump between right here and like this zone here, you can't really go wrong, even if something like this happens, where we just kind of chop down. Like, this is a super bearish scenario, but ultimately this coin I would add on your watch list along with hyperliquid, and if you get significant pullbacks, I would load in, not leverage, just on spot. So yeah, that's pretty much it for my plan on the bear case. If everything shits the bed, I'm bidding hyperliquid, Bitcoin of course, pump fund, maybe a little ETH, maybe a little SOL, and yeah, that's it. If we go up from here and continue to make new all-time highs, great. I'm exposed to Aster, and yeah. So that's pretty much it. And then of course my stop losses are break even on all my forex trades, so pretty much risk free. I'm really happy with how I played this last recent move. So stay tuned for the next video. I hope you got into some of these positions because we absolutely cooked. Yeah, I'll see you in the next one.